Lynn Sweet, thank you both. I turn now to New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who's on the House Judiciary Committee. What do you think of this use of the pardon power, and what should be done about it?
Well, I think that the pardon power, first of all, is a old school throwback to the days of the constitutional monarchy that we need to revisit, because the unfettered ability to pardon individuals without any process, any guardrails, any guidelines, clearly is subject to abuse, as we're now seeing from Donald Trump. And it appears that there is a pattern, as you laid out, Ari, where this pardon power is being used to send signals to people who are within the sights of Bob Mueller's criminal probe, to perhaps urge them not to cooperate with the ongoing criminal investigation into the Trump campaign, with the possibility... Does it
concern you that that's the goal, or do you think it's a coincidence that these relate to past special counsels?
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that these charges, for instance, relate to campaign finance abuse, or abuse of power, or obstruction of justice, or lying to the federal government. These are some of the charges upon which individuals have already pled guilty or are being prosecuted or potentially investigated. And so I think it's reasonable for people to at least be suspicious that that is exactly what's taking place. The other problem with this pardon ability, as you pointed out, is that everyday Americans don't have access to the presidential review process, since it's just being done by an individual who's bouncing off the walls in the Oval Office, coming up with the next great idea to pardon some conservative cause celebrity.
No, it would seem if you take the president's process as it's been publicly executed, you need to either endorse him in a primary, be on The Apprentice, or have the kind of Twitter following that can get you so up his mentions that he noticed. Because he's literally doing this by tweet. I mean, this is not a joke. As for Dinesh D'Souza, he spoke about this today. Here was his take.
I'm very relieved to have my record clean. I mean, in a way, this fully restores my, my faith in America, my American dream. Something is hanging over you when you have the United States of America versus Dinesh D'Souza, and that is now gone.
I mean, legally, the case is over. He had confessed and admitted guilt, and taking the pardon, of course, only reasserts that, right?
Absolutely. And, the president takes an oath to uphold the Constitution and faithfully execute the laws of the United States of America, and yet he is systematically undermining the rule of law, attacking the special prosecutor, attacking the FBI, attacking the Department of Justice, apparently abusing the pardon power that has been given to him, which we in Congress, I believe, the Judiciary Committee, should review to figure out whether some guardrails need to be put into place.
If your party becomes the majority in the Judiciary, is the pardon issue something you would look to constrain?
Well, absolutely. It seems to me something that should be put on the table. Now, as you know, to constrain it would require a constitutional amendment, which would necessitate significant majorities in both the House and the Senate, a presidential signature, or a presidential veto override.
When I worked on the Hill, they had an old saying, a constitutional amendment passing is about as likely as Donald Trump becoming president.
Well, anything is possible.
You know that saying, Congressman.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, and we saw some of what you were saying about this. You've been speaking out about this from the Judiciary Committee today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For coming by the beat. We have a lot more in the show, including this bombshell audio leaking.